Shine. It is 1 week later. We are turning and burning on the next adventure once again. It is the second week of May. 6 a.m. at a cool 65 degrees down here in the low-lying deserts of the southwest. We are getting out of Dodge before the winds come in. Down here in the desert, they are predicting 20 to 40 mile an hour winds once again. And fortunately for me today and this Tacoma, we have a tailwind. It is definitely a lot more easygoing while towing when you have a tailwind at your back, especially with this Tacoma. Slightly shorter drive this week, should be about 5 hours north. And the campground looks pretty nice. It's a pretty big campground, and hopefully it is a lot quieter than the last one. Unfortunately, though, we will have to cut through Phoenix. I don't think there's any way around this one. So we'll see how it is towing through highway traffic through the center of Phoenix. Then we'll continue north on the always dangerous 87, where we will be topping out about 6,000 feet in altitude at our final destination. I think we're going to have some pretty strange weather here. It is predicted that we may be getting some afternoon thunderstorms, probably rain all night up here. So that is definitely welcome for a change, as long as we don't get any hail. The plan this weekend is to chill out, relax, and on day 2 I have a pretty cool hike planned, if the weather cooperates. Check out all that dust and dirt getting ready to roll in. What a difference that 10 mile an hour tailwind makes. Almost 13 miles to the gallon, doing 74 miles an hour. Somewhere out there's a set of mountains. I'm guessing all that wind is just rushing across the flat desert area here and smashing right into those mountains and updrafting. This should be interesting. Not too bad coming through the pass, but man, is it getting nasty out there. I'm just glad the wind's at our back today. Kind of makes you feel like you're out in Egypt when mountains look like pyramids out here in the desert. If you're ever through Gila Bend, you got to stop at the Chevron, get one of these fried burritos. I wouldn't say they're anything too special, but they are pretty good. And believe it or not, that place has some pretty darn good gas station pizza. And we're on the 101, cutting through Phoenix, heading north. This should be interesting towing a trailer. And we're about the center point of Phoenix on the 101. Traffic seems to be light and variable, but easy going. And we've entered the 202, heading east. And now to head up the 87 Beeline Highway, about another 100 miles. All uphill from here. And way out there in the distance, that would be the Superstition Mountains. Got the Tacoma Nation in tow with us. But I do forget that this is one of the most dangerous highways in Arizona, especially on a holiday weekend, with half of Phoenix trying to head north, up, or down. It can get pretty crazy. And I do want to add, if you're out here on the highway in Arizona, if you're riding the left lane holding up traffic, you will get ticketed. There's no camping in the left lane out here. That is for passing and emergency vehicle use only. Much better looking desert up here. And now we start to climb the mountains. And this is where the Tacoma starts to become kind of a dog. Probably about 3,000 feet in elevation, holding 3,500 RPM at about 55 miles an hour. Now it's kind of wide open. But it gets there. It's the little Toyota that could. Okay, we're going to try to hold this at 60 in third gear. About half throttle, 4,000 RPM. She is cracked open. I'm not overstressing the truck, but I really don't like having it rev that high. I mean, you can hear I'm light on the pedal, but we're like right on the verge. But if we have to get back into it because this guy in front of me is slowing down and I can't keep momentum, it's very hard to pick up the pace again. Working our way closer to rim country. Not sure if that's dust out there or control burn smoke. Pretty cool. Looks like we got an AMX up front here, or Javelin, one or the other. Now that was a damn good burger. A hand-pressed flame-broiled patty, real bacon, green chili, pepper jack cheese, and to top it off, a potato bun. Finally, a restaurant that uses potato bread. That is the best bread for a burger, I swear. You got to check out Mackey's Grill in Payson, Arizona if you're ever through. That was excellent. Now it's time to actually head to camp here. It looks like we're going to get some weather coming in, so we'll see how this goes. Nobody home once again. I'm gonna have to check on how many sites are here, but this is a pretty big campground. Some pretty nice sites. Some are close together, and then there's others that are fairly well spread apart. A nice pull through right there. Very nice bathrooms, and I think they're flush toilets too. Nice dense vegetation. Slightly more on the pricier end on some of these campgrounds. $29 a night for no hookups. I'm not sure if there's a shower house here though, but if there is, that would make sense. The last campground I was in, I think that was close to $32. No hookups, no shower, just pit toilets. So that's a little bit overboard, I think, but I mean, cheaper than a hotel, right? And I'm not sure, but I don't even think there's a dump station here either. Should be coming up on our site here pretty soon. All right, here we are. Kind of a short driveway. I think we're just barely gonna fit. Normally this wouldn't be that hard to back into, but I can't see around the curve because of these bushes, so it's going to be a little tricky. Gotta watch the upper part of that trailer. Just wrap around it on in. That's why it's nice having that reverse camera. Straighten it out. I think we're just barely going to fit in here. And before we go any farther and pop our little tab bubble, we're going to take a look here. See what we're working with. We got plenty of room. Interesting site. The campground's actually tucked up here in the trees. I purposely picked this for the driveway and the seclusion. Look at that. Next site's down over there. But you got all this wrapped around you here. Got some manzanitas. I think I'm good with that. Just the right length. Probably could have fit in here with a 20-foot trailer, honestly, but perfect. I literally just got everything set up and it started raining out of nowhere. Oh man, couldn't hang. I ended up falling asleep once I got up here. But it's been so relaxing. It's been kind of drizzling on and off. A couple of these thunderstorms just keep rolling in. Got all the windows opened up. That smell out there is amazing. Got some of that juniper and pine and manzanita. Wet dirt. So fresh. Got a little break in thunderstorms. Weatherman is saying it's supposed to be like this on and off till the morning, so we'll see what happens here. And I guess that means we're going to be using the tiny kitchen inside the trailer, doing some simple, easy meals. Alright, let's go take a look while we got some sunshine. But I was getting ready, got my rain jacket out, and just in case things got crazy with hail, I had to make sure my air pump was charged up. This thing will inflate that giant air pad I can throw over the roof of the trailer to maybe help with some hail damage. But these are pretty neat. Check out Flextail gear. They even have a better model of this now, but this is pretty powerful. That inflates an airbed pretty quickly. And a giant air pull floaty mat thing I have. You may have noticed earlier in the video, my right eye was been a little bit jacked up. The last couple days with this dirt and dust and allergies, I got something in there, but it seems like it's doing a little bit better up here in the fresh air. Oh, the porthole window is always neat. Look at that. That is picture worthy. Nice part about rain up here is if you get some sun within a half an hour, everything's pretty dried out. But it looks like we're going to have another set of storms rolling in a little bit. This is a pretty sweet spot. And I usually try to pick a site that backs right up to the forest, so there is nobody back here. I don't know if I've ever camped in a place with the site this dense in vegetation. It's pretty cool. I mean, the next site's right there, but that's not too bad, especially having all these trees blocking things. Let's go for a little campground cruise. This is what I was talking about last week. This place is normally jam-packed, and nobody is really here by 4 o'clock. This is a 10 only loop, I think, but looks like we got a trailer in here anyway. I guess if you can park it, you're good to go. Maybe not a good idea to run a generator and be polite and keep the noise down. But that guy got that big old Airstream in there. That's a pretty small parking spot. Yeah, I could totally park the tab on one half and the truck on the other, no problem. That's a tight parking spot there. I am really tripping out. Where is everybody at? This is crazy. For such a nice campground and its proximity to Phoenix, I would think this would be pretty packed. And the main reason I chose to come to this campground now is because after May, during summer, it's probably going to be hopeless to try to get in here. And oddly enough, some of the smaller campgrounds I go to around the state are filled right now, or they say they're filled. So that's kind of weird. A pretty neat site right there. It totally fit the truck and the trailer in there. But where the heck is everybody? How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Good. Question for you. There's no showers at this campground, right?
There used to be. They're not in service anymore.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, the warming center on the showers
How about a dump station? Nothing?
across the street.
Oh, at the gas station there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. It's kind of strange, like, there's nobody here.
I know. Well, we were full this weekend.
But yeah, everywhere I go, like, even on a Sunday, has been, like, packed. But of all places here, as close as it is to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
A lot of people are disappointed too because we don't have the showers open, so they go somewhere else. But
Well, big deal.
yeah, I tell them about it.
Yeah, if you got a trailer too, you got a bathroom, shower.
Yeah.
Huh. Fire's okay still?
No, we're on stage 2, so only propane.
Oh, really? Okay, good to know. All right, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Just talking to the camp host there, and yeah, no idea. The actual weekend was packed. My strange weekends off actually worked out for once, so that's cool. But what a bummer on the fire, man. We're on stage 2 fire ban now. Darn. I guess I could use the Tabs propane tank since I didn't bring my extra one and use the tripod torch, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow night. This would have been a great place to have a campfire in the next couple nights. And she did say no dump station here and no showers. There used to be shower houses, but I guess they got rid of them. And like I was saying earlier, typically these Forestry Service campgrounds are usually around $18 a night to $22 a night on the high end. But I think I paid $29 a night. So like I said, that's a little much for, you know, just water in a bathroom house. But I guess you're paying the extra money for a flush toilet. I don't know. But it is a really nice campground. But the good thing is, I have found that few extra dollars tends to scare some people off. So you may be able to get a spot, and it keeps the riffraff out. So for that couple extra dollars a night, I don't mind spending it. There are a couple off-the-grid spots out there for boondocking, but they're pretty well out into the forest, and if it is a busy weekend, you're out there camping with a bunch of people next to you anyway. There's people all over the place nowadays. So why not just use a nice, wide, spread-out campground? It's a little closer to town if you need to get something, and it's got some amenities. A guy parked in the trailer in the tent-only site might be the camp host. I don't like to use tent-only sites if I don't have to, because it's kind of rude. I used to be a tent camper, and when all the trailers were around making a bunch of noise with heaters and generators, it wasn't that fun. So I tend to not get the tent sites, unless the whole campground is basically a tent site that you can kind of shove a trailer into. But here's what's kind of a trip. We are on the trailer loop, and that driveway might be big enough to fit the truck in, so I don't know what kind of trailer you're going to fit in there. I mean, I could probably squeeze the tab in there and have the truck almost sticking out on the road, but just like this one, that's a real shorty too. Probably squeeze the tab all the way over and the truck on one side maybe. This pull through would be ideal. And you're totally surrounded and encapsulated by all these trees and bushes, and off this side is forest, and then beyond that there's a horse camp. Yeah, the winds are starting to pick up. I'll show you how well spread out these sites are. So here's my camp neighbor to my right with the big old R-pod, and my site's all the way down here. Let's get tucked back up in here, get some things ready for dinner in the trailer. Ooh, those winds are coming in. As long as everything goes all right weather-wise, this should be a pretty peaceful and quiet camping experience. Thank God for once. It's time to bring in that weather sensor. I don't want it to get wet, but down to 59 degrees with 37% humidity. Tonight's gourmet dinner in the trailer, easy peasy. Macaroni and cheese with some bacon and crispy onions. Nothing too amazing here. I don't think I need to explain how to boil water. Then again, you never know nowadays. There are people that could mess that up, believe it or not. You know, I'd like to get some really nice shots of me sitting here cooking up a meal and all that, but there really isn't a way to film that. I mean, I usually put my tripod up and over here, and that's about the best I can do. If I put something back here, you won't be able to see what I'm cooking. But the rain is drizzling down still. It's nice having these fold-out windows, man. I'll tell you what, being able to vent like that while it's raining. It's just something cool about rain on the trailer or rain on a tent. So relaxing. There is only one minor issue with this trailer design. When you open your door out in the rain, we don't have an awning or anything up here to keep this thing from getting wet. Now, there are companies that make a awning you slide into the Keter rail, being this section right here. It looks like a giant visor that hangs out, but I haven't gotten one of those yet because I'm usually not squatted around the trailer, so it hasn't been needed. They also make some really neat like tent structures that come out to here and make a whole living space. That rain's coming down pretty decent, and it's cold. And it is 10 years later, and our water is finally boiled. We can dump in our shells. Gotta get our dinette ready for dinner here. Always make sure your trailer is vented with your vent fan on, your front window cracked, and you have your blinds up so you don't melt them. Get all that steam out of here, and if you are cooking anything greasy, that way you get all that grease air out that air vent and not all over the inside of your trailer. I think our noodles are about al dente. It's time to strain this thing off. The neat thing with these Sea to Summit pots is they have their own built-in strainers on the lids. They also have a little rubber thing here so you can hang your lid out of the way. Pretty cool. That's a lot of steam in a little trailer. Now to add in some liquid plastic cheese. It's kind of hard to do in this little space and film at the same time and have that camera at the right angle. But you get the point. Little pre-cooked bacon. Maybe a lot. Just do this first person here and set the camera in front of me. But I like to leave a little water in the shells here with these Velveetas. That way that cheese really gets mixed in and broken down. And it isn't just a plasticized gooey mess. That makes a pretty good and easy trailer meal that doesn't make a lot of mess. Top it off with a little of these crispy onions. Now we're gourmet. I would have went with crispy jalapenos, but I couldn't find any at Wally World, unfortunately. And because it's just me, I'm going to eat right out of this pot. Why dirty another dish? Can't go wrong with mac and cheese. Like I said, I wish I had some crispy jalapenos instead. No golden sunset, so no golden hour or beer. A little bit of the Diet Pepsi will have to do. I kind of hope this rain just keeps doing what it's doing, on and off real light like that. That's going to make for one heck of an amazing, much needed night's sleep. As usual on a lot of these missions, I usually get home late after work on a Saturday night, and I don't get much sleep if I'm trying to get up north, especially at a 5 to 7 hour haul or something. I like to get up here as early as I can to enjoy the first day to its fullest anyway, since these trips are so short. Technically, they always want you to book in by 2 o'clock, but I sneak in early anyway. As long as you're here after 12 and the campground host has cleaned up the fire pit and everything, you're usually good to go. I'll tell you what, I really like the glamping life. Just to think, a short year and a half ago, I would have been sitting out there under an easy up with a rain jacket and a pretty thick padded jacket underneath, just trying to stay warm while I made dinner and hung out. And it really sucks tent camping like that when it's fire ban season, because all you can do is hop in your tent to stay warm. But I will say, I really do miss waking up in a tent. Some of those sleeps in a tent were either terrifying because you don't know what critters are coming up, or some of the most peaceful sleeps I could ever get. Pretty much being one with nature. And the few times I went backpacking, none of that mattered anyway. You were so tired, you just crashed out, fell asleep. You didn't care if a bear tried to eat you or not. I don't know if I went over this before, but when I do dishes in here, I try to do the minimal. I don't want to get any of that nasty food down in my gray tank. It's just my preference. Keeps the tank and the drains from stinking, and keeping sensors working and whatnot. So what I'll typically do is I'll wipe all this out first with a paper towel. And today we had this convenience box as a trash can, so we'll use that. But I'm just going to use the hot water in here with some soap. Just a minimal amount of soap and water. And I don't have a sponge in here, so I'm going to do what I always do and just use a piece of paper towel. Get everything wiped down and rinsed off here. When it comes to this soap water in this pot, I'm actually going to take this outside and dump it right in the fire pit. That way I don't have to put it down my drain. And that's all you got to do. Basically what I'd be doing if I were tent camping anyway, so no difference there. Sky's starting to clear up again. The rains are coming down again. Starting to rain pretty good now. I forgot who asked me, but I took a quick guesstimation with this crappy tape measure. I think it's 71 wide when this is fully open by 75 long, about-ish. If you're wondering what size topper to get, that's if you remove the sides over here, so wall to wall. And by the way, these things I usually just take off if I want the full room, and I shove it under the cabinet or something, but that's your size for you. So I figured that'd be a good time to take that measurement because I have this thing fully opened. I need a good sleep. That way I can flip-flop, toss, turn, do somersaults, whatever I want to at night when I'm sleeping to get a good night's rest. Alright, well, it's time to call it a day. I'm just going to chill out in here, enjoy the rain, and watch some Down to Mob on YouTube. Pretty cool channel if you haven't watched it. Check out Down to Mob. I'll see you all in the morning.
It's a winter wonderland. We're leaving Bend. We lived here for like 3 months. And,
Another trailer safe non-grease splatter option. If you like turkey bacon, it works out perfectly. The grease splatter is almost zero, and the smell on the trailer isn't as bad as like a regular bacon. This Suburban cooktop cooks a lot more evenly than my little camp stove or burner, believe it or not. Makes things pretty nice. So I think they paired this stovetop with the trailer perfectly. Can't forget a little cheese. The hard part about cooking turkey bacon is it's really hard to get crisped. But I guess it is technically healthier for you. Not that I'm going for healthy. I was just going for a change and less grease in this trailer. And another couple of glorious breakfast burritos made inside the trailer. And as weird as it is, I cooked inside, but I'm going to eat outside. At least until the rain starts coming in. So we're going to try this Melinda's fire roasted garlic and habanero sauce. But first, a little bit of the morning juice. I don't mind the turkey bacon. It's actually a lot better than that beef bacon I tried a couple of trips back. Let's see how that fire roasted Melinda's is. Not bad. It definitely has a habanero kick. Woo! Maybe a little too much on that. Wow. It's always surprising when you get one that's actually a little spicy. It's not super hot, it's edible. But I wasn't expecting that. Oh yeah. It's got a bit of a bite to it. Very nice morning though. Sun's just starting to poke out. All the birds are out. Weatherman is saying probably rain about 10 to 12. I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. I do have a hike planned and I really want to go to this place, so we're going to feel that out, play it by ear, and get to that right after breakfast. All right, time to hurry up and beat the rain and go check out this spot, do a little hike. It should be pretty epic. 14 to 16% grade. This is a steep one. That's a good thing I left the trailer back at camp. This is pretty steep.
Not much mud. Even when we get a little bit of rain, most of our trails are rock. Like I mentioned, the Gowan Trail's more dirt trail, but there's only a couple places that get kind of muddy.
Looks like we might have a little bit of drizzling coming in, but how awesome is this? Now we just got to head on down the trail to get down there. So this is the stream that's going over the edge. It goes right under the footpath and down and over the side. How wild is this? Check out this drainage hole. Straight down through the bottom. It's a pretty steep down and up, but not very long. And it is rough. You know what would have been nice? A rain jacket that some guy forgot. These storms usually don't last long, I hope. Check out that natural bridge. But a fairly windy, steep, rough trail so far. Nothing out of the norm for me. Once you've done the Grand Canyon a couple times, it's no big deal to do most other things other than actually climbing a mountain. Dropping elevation fairly quickly here. Like a little paradise. So cool. Definitely gonna burn off those breakfast burritos for sure today. And you can tell I'm not huffing and puffing nearly as bad as usual because I think it's around the 4,000 foot range here. How cool. I guess the observation deck is the way in. And whether it's actually raining or not, we will get rained on by the little waterfall up top. Wow. All right, let's try to not slip and slide here. Should have brought the rock shoes. This is some slippery stuff. Very slippery. This is pretty awesome. Definitely bring the wrong shoes for this stuff. These hiking boots are not holding up. Look at that. Dangerous stuff. Extremely slippery. So crazy. This would be really nice on a summer day. And I think this is about as far as I'm going to go. Yeah, this place is alright, I guess. Pretty awesome. I feel like I'm in some scene from the Goonies. So either way, we were going to get rained on today. This thing's just seeping stream water. Super clear water though, look at that. All right, now time to get out of here without slipping and sliding and dying. I'm probably gonna have to put the camera down so I can lock in the four-wheel drive and crawl on all fours to get up this hill. Very peaceful down in here. But this stuff is super duper slick. Especially the rock here where everybody's been walking on over the years. It's just polished. Made it out of the arch alive without slipping and breaking ankles. But what a gorgeous place. Sun's coming back out. It's going to be a nice day. There are very few places in this state that are like this, unless you really know where to go. Alright, let's see if we can knock out this Stairmaster 1000 on the way back up at a nice leisurely pace. There's your yucca stock, or some people call them century plants. Your natural needle and thread here. You can pop those out and use all the strings and veins in between as needle and thread if you need to stitch yourself back up. Look at this little barrel cactus. Real tiny. Like those ones you see at gift shops. We're getting there. Slow and steady wins the race every time. And we made it back up. Not too bad. Took me about 15 minutes at a nice leisurely pace. It's short, but coming back up's pretty tough. And a lot of those rocks are loose, and the ones down near the fall are extremely slippery. And I forgot to mention, we are at Tonto National Bridge. If you didn't happen to catch that on the way in, this has been on my list for a long time. I've passed it many times. I've just never stopped. Totally worth stopping. Now we just got to make it back to the truck and head back to the camp to relax. Well, I was getting kind of hungry after that hike, so I think I'm going to do dinner early. We're going to do some quick and easy green chili chicken quesadillas. Got our chicken and green chili all cooked up. Gonna add a little bit of cheese in here. A couple healthy scoops of chicken. And I'm even gonna throw in some of these crispy onions. Why not, right? Gotta use it up. Now we just gotta toast these up. And because this pan is so small, you gotta keep working it around here. That hot spot is really generated right in the center of these thin pans. Those are going to be some pretty hearty quesadillas. Let's see how these came out. They look pretty good. Not bad for quick, easy, and cheesy. Need some hot sauce though. Pretty dang good for a green chili chicken quesadilla while camping. Wash it down with a nice cold iced tea. Gorgeous day. Well, it's time to kick back and get a little bit of sunshine. Maybe take a nap. Fell asleep too long. The buzzards are circling. And the clouds are starting to come in again. It's getting a little chilly. I'm gonna get back in the trailer and warm up. But before I head back in, I want to show you all these manzanita trees. If you're not familiar with them, they're kind of interesting looking. You almost have like olive leaves, and they're split in half. They're like half red and half dark brown. They're a hardwood. They're always all mangled and twisted looking. Manzanita is Spanish for apple or tiny apple, and they'll usually get these little fruits on them, and technically you can eat them. The ancient inhabitants used to eat those, and their stomachs were built up to that. They say they can be a little acidic and stuff, so I wouldn't eat them, of course, but maybe if you had to survive, you could eat a few. They typically grow around the I think 4,000 foot range from this whole rim area in Arizona, probably into parts of California. I don't know, but don't take my word from it. I'm no paleobotanist or arborist or whatever you want to call it. I got my education in plants from Jurassic Park. Really sucks not being able to have a fire, I'll tell you what. I really wanted to sit out here with a fire and drink a couple beers. But it is nice to have a warm, cozy little trailer. Yeah, it is a little chilly for 5 o'clock. 56 at 33% humidity. Well, nothing too exciting going on this evening, and as usual, this video has ran way too long. So I'm going to end it here. And as usual, I'll be out and about on another adventure in a couple weeks. Unfortunately, I have things to get done at home, or I would be making these videos every week for you. But in between now and then, I will be putting up a tab tip video about how I keep my windows crystal clear and in pristine condition. And then I'll be heading back up north once again to do some camping. So for right now, I'm just going to kick back, watch some TV, and enjoy the modern comforts and luxury of this tiny trailer. Thank you all again for watching, commenting, and subscribing. I hope you liked the video, especially the hiking portion of this trip. That was pretty cool. All right, we'll see you in the next adventure.